Imagine a boy growing up in a small log cabin, deep in the American wilderness. There is no electricity, no running water, and very few books. His family is poor, and every day is a struggle for survival. This boy walks miles just to borrow a book, studies by candlelight, and teaches himself to read and write. No one around him could imagine that this child would one day become one of the most important leaders in world history. That boy was Abraham Lincoln. The 16th President of the United States. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in Kentucky. His parents were farmers, and life was extremely hard. Lincoln received less than 1 year of formal education, but he had an intense hunger for knowledge. He loved reading and learning, and he believed education was the key to a better life. Tragedy struck early. Lincoln's mother died when he was only 9 years old. This loss deeply affected him and shaped his serious, thoughtful personality. Despite the hardships, Lincoln developed a strong sense of right and wrong. He believed in honesty so deeply that people later called him Honest Abe. As a young man, Lincoln worked many jobs: farmhand, store clerk, surveyor, and even postmaster. These experiences allowed him to meet ordinary people and understand their struggles. This connection to common citizens would later define his leadership style. Lincoln eventually studied law on his own and became a lawyer. He was known not only for his intelligence, but also for his fairness. He believed the law should protect everyone, not just the powerful. He entered politics in the 1830s, serving in the Illinois state legislature. At first, Lincoln was not focused on ending slavery completely, but he strongly opposed its expansion into new territories. He believed slavery was morally wrong and contradicted the core values of freedom and equality. One of the most important moments in his early career came during his debates with Stephen Douglas in 1858. These debates were watched closely across the nation. Lincoln argued that a house divided against itself cannot stand, meaning the country could not survive half free and half enslaved. Although he lost that election, the debates made him famous nationwide. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected President of the United States. His victory immediately caused a crisis. Several Southern states feared that his presidency threatened slavery, so they chose to leave the Union. This led to the American Civil War, one of the deadliest conflicts in history. Lincoln took office at a moment when the nation was breaking apart. His main goal was clear: to preserve the Union. He believed that democracy itself was at risk. If a country could simply break apart after an election, then democracy would fail. The war tested Lincoln like nothing before. He faced criticism from all sides. Some people thought he was too slow to act against slavery, while others believed he went too far. Despite immense pressure, Lincoln remained focused on what he believed was right. In 1863, Lincoln made one of the most important decisions of his life. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared that enslaved people in the Confederate States were free. This was not just a political move. It was a moral statement. The war was no longer only about preserving the Union, it was now also about ending slavery. Although the proclamation did not immediately free all enslaved people, it changed the meaning of the war and opened the door for the complete abolition of slavery. It also allowed Black Americans to join the Union Army, giving them an active role in fighting for their own freedom. Lincoln's presidency was filled with pain and loss. He lost his young son during the war, and the weight of thousands of deaths deeply affected him. He often suffered from depression, but he never allowed personal sorrow to stop him from leading. What made Lincoln special was his ability to combine strength with compassion. He did not seek revenge against the South. Instead, he spoke of healing and reconciliation. His speeches were powerful because they were simple, honest, and deeply human. One of his greatest speeches, the Gettysburg Address, lasted only about 2 minutes, yet it changed history. In just a few sentences, Lincoln redefined the purpose of the nation: a country dedicated to liberty, equality, and government of the people, by the people, for the people. In 1865, the Civil War finally came to an end. The Union was preserved, and slavery was on the path to being abolished completely through the 13th Amendment. But just days after the war ended, tragedy struck. On April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated while attending a play at Ford's Theater. The nation was devastated. People mourn not only a president, but a leader who had guided them through their darkest hour. Today, Abraham Lincoln is remembered as one of the greatest leaders in history not because he was perfect, but because he grew, learned, and stayed true to his principles. He showed that leadership requires courage, empathy, and moral clarity. He proved that even someone born into poverty, with almost no formal education, can change the course of history. Lincoln once said, "Whatever you are, be a good one." His life is proof of those words. More than 150 years later, his story continues to inspire people around the world. Abraham Lincoln did not just save a nation, he helped redefine what freedom and democracy truly mean.